Hello everyone, welcome once again. In our last session we talked about how to gather customers' requirement, understand who the customers are, and converting the requirements into measurable requirements, measurable inputs, and then prioritizing customers' requirements. So we have gathered a good amount of understanding about the problem, the customers, their expectations. Some prioritization has also been done. What needs to be done now? This information needs to be captured and documented in a structured manner now. So here we introduce a document called as project charter. Now each project requires a project charter. As you can see on my screen, we talk more about the project charter. Each document should have a project charter. You do a Six Sigma project, you don't do a Six Sigma project. If you are simply working on a basic project where you plan to just make some changes into a process, it is recommended that you should have a project charter, because project charter contains the key details of a project, wherein we talk about the project teams, what is the problem we are going to solve, what is in scope, what are the timelines, business benefits, KPIs, and so on. So these are the key things that project charter tells us. But what is a project charter? First of all, project charter is a synopsis of a project, and it describes what the project is all about. Sometimes you can call it the summary of the overall project here, and it suggests what can be expected at the completion of the project. When it says it suggests, it does not mean that it solves the problem. It simply says that you have the goal statement written. So it tells the current state of the process that you write in it, but you also write where do you want to be after 3 months, 6 months, what is the goal that you plan to achieve from this project. You write it here as part of the goal. And it also contains the name of the people who are involved in the project, along with their roles and responsibilities. So we also write about what is the project, how many people are there in the project team, what are the roles and responsibilities. So we write it in it, and then at the end it tells the timelines. What are the key activities, what are the key milestones that we'll achieve, we'll complete, and we write the tentative dates. So this is at a high level. But if you look into this slide, it talks about what are the key elements of a project charter. Now I have mentioned 6 key elements. Now these are the standard elements of a project charter that you must have. If you go back to the Kano analysis point of view, these 6 elements will remain as it is, but we can always have some more requirements in the project charter. That depends on the complexity of the project and also on the organization. What can be some good to have elements in a charter? They can be the business benefits, they can be some more key performance indicators. So some of these requirements can be added, but these 6 key elements remain as it is. So we are going to understand these 6 key elements in detail, and as we have to put together a charter from the details that we have gathered from the customer. So the 6 key elements that I am saying here, let me give you an overview. It starts with a business case. But before we talk about business case, let me first talk about the problem statement, as that directly relates to business case. The problem statement of a process or in a project charter tells us what is the problem the customer is facing, what is the current state. Basically that's where we begin with. The business case talks about why do we need to solve a problem, what is the urgency, what is the need. It's like I have a leakage in a pipe in my home, that's a problem, but do I need to solve it now? Is it so urgent? The urgency needs to be created using the business case. Then talks about the objective. What do we want to achieve? The leakage in the pipe, we want to stop the leakage. Is it clear? Not very clear. We want to stop the leakage by today. That is clear actually, that when do you want to stop the leakage. So you need to have a goal which talks about that when do you want to solve the problem, and how much you want to solve the problem. You want to improve 30% a product, you want to improve a quality of a process from 90 to 95%. So that's a goal we are talking here. Then comes the scope. Now scope is very important aspect, which tells us what is in the scope of solving this problem. The scope has 2 aspects: what is in scope, what is not in scope. So scoping is a tricky thing. We'll understand when we talk in detail about it. Then 4th thing is called the key milestone. What are the key milestone in a project? the key activities when we finish, the key deliverables that we have achieved. So we talk about that as part of the key milestone, and at the end we talk about the team selection. Who all will be part of this project? Are we forming a cross-functional team? What are the roles and responsibilities? So these are the details from a project charter point of view that we shall discuss as part of a project charter. So to start with, the first thing you can see on the screen, we are talking about a project charter here that is describing these elements. That's how a charter format looks like. In the PowerPoint presentation, you can have these 6 boxes, or you can write down in a Word document also these 6 key elements. So that's how a typical format looks like. If I have to detail it out, this entire charter, we'll discuss in the next slide, but in this slide you will see on the top it says it's a living document. Now, that's very important thing to understand. Our project charter in a continuous improvement project is a living document. It is ever evolving. A lot of people might argue that a project charter does not change. Yes, it does not change when it caters to a project where everything has been fixed from the day one. Now here what happens in a Six Sigma project, when we are collecting data and analyzing the data, we might realize the data suggests that we need to gather more data. The scope of the process is very small. We need to enhance it. And when we enhance the scope of the project, the scope definition changes in our charter. Or sometimes we may realize that the scope is too big, we need to shorten it when we are doing a detailed analysis of the process. And that's in the major phase though. So we need to again change the project charter. People would keep on joining the team, and we'll have to, or a new member will join the team. So that again will change the entire project information. Similarly, the key milestones, when the scope definition changes, your problem will also change, definition will also change, and then your business case will also change accordingly. Then your goal may also change accordingly. So all this information may change or may go through some changes during the entire 5 phases of the project. So your charter will also change accordingly. That is why in all the toll gate review which happens after each phase, the first question the reviewers ask is, have you updated the project charter? Because the findings of a phase is updated into the charter, and the first finding may be related to any change in the project charter. So that's why it's a living document. It's an ever evolving document that needs to happen, and it is a must have for every project. Now to start with, we'll start with the problem statement first. As I said, that's the one of the key requirements in a project charter. I will say the most important thing in a project charter. So as you can see on the screen, the problem statement in a project charter should address these questions, which talks about what is the impact or pain from the customer point of view. Second thing, it talks about how extensive is the problem, how big is the problem in fact. Third thing, it talks about what is wrong and what is not working. And fourth thing, it talks about when, where and how often does the problem occur. If I have to summarize these 4 questions that we are asking from the customer point of view, we are basically saying everything that we are writing in charter should be measurable, should have a number to it, should have facts, should have figures, no assumptions. And the words like a lot of, very much, too few, from a long time, these things we do not write into a problem statement, as they are not quantitative. They are very qualitative, and they do not suggest anything, what is happening, for how long you have been facing the issue. When we go to a doctor, the first question the doctor asks, for how long you have this problem. That's how the doctor begins his investigation. Similarly, when we are writing a problem statement, we always write for how long we have been facing a problem, and we write for last 30 days, for last 6 months. Even if you write like this, for last 6 months is not right. So you have to keep it like this, from January 2021, or from, if you can be more specific, from 1st January 2021, whatever the problem is, then we start talking about it. So that's how we start detailing about the problem and in the problem statement. Similarly, we write a lot of issues. That is why some data collection, some analysis of the problem is always recommended before we even begin writing about the problem statement. So problem statement contains and focuses a lot on these issues. What else a problem statement should not focus on? Problem statement should never have any root causes related suggestion or any recommended solution. For example, the moment you write the words like due to or because of, it leads to an assumption that there are certain root causes that I am aware of. So if you are already knowing about the root causes, why do you need the charter and all this activity that we are doing it? If you know the root causes, you don't need to put everything into detail and make a charter. Just solve those problems right away and then move to the next part of it. So never use the word which might suggest that there is a root cause we are already aware of the root causes and we are still doing this entire activity, which might be a waste of this entire process. So thank you everyone, this is Shivendra here. We'll try to know more about the project charter into the next part of this same module. Thank you.